Thank you, Katlego. Yes, you know what? While everybody at home mills it over as to who is going to win that fantastic entry into the Met's most elegantly dressed couple, we are celebrating Chinese New Year in the kitchen. I'm hanging out with Lisa. Oh, what a beautiful girl. And you know what? We are making a dessert. It's traditionally for the Chinese New Year. Yeah. Lisa, very, very nice to have you in the kitchen. What are you making for us just to end off the show?
Sure. So for Chinese New Year, and today's the first day, we'll always start with a Chinese New Year rice cake. Traditionally, because Chinese New Year happened during the winter, so we'll normally deep fry it or stir fry. Yes. But since it's summer in Cape Town, I figure we'll bake it so you can actually make it at home.
Exactly. Okay, because like you said, normally it's cold, you know, yes. in China at the moment.
So it's a lot heavier to keep you warm.
Indeed, indeed. Okay, so our sweet red bean and Chinese New Year's cake, or New Year's cake, that's what we're making. Yes. Take us through the process. What do we need to do?
Fantastic. So firstly, the red beans have been pre-rinsed, and you can usually get it at Asian groceries or Ellis Trading. And what you would do after you've rinsed it is to just add into a pot.
Okay.
And pretty much add the water. So you're going to boil it and put it on simmer for about 20 minutes, just so that it softens, and you can add sugar to taste.
What is the significance of the red bean, taking a look at this time of year?
Yeah, so with Chinese New Year, there's always a lot of stories around it, and red color signifies fortune and great fortune to the family. Okay. So with the red bean as well, and it has fantastic beauty benefits, so we always
Beauty benefits, really?
Yes.
I'm sure the women would like to hear this one. Beauty benefits for skin?
Yes, for the skin.
Ah, okay, all right, well, there's the secret. Right, let's keep going.
Fantastic. So once the bean is done, effectively you'll look something like this, which is caramelized red bean, and that's going to go into the cake itself.
All right. So let's start assembling this cake.
Perfect. So I usually like to crack the eggs first.
Brilliant. Okay. 2 eggs goes in there.
So 2 eggs, and then you add the cooking oil into it as well. So it's always nice to have more of a greasy base, because that really blends in well with the rest of the ingredients.
And also going to make sure that it's nice and flavorful, I'm sure, as well.
Exactly.
But of course, if you have just tuned in, we are busy making the sweet red bean and Chinese New Year's cakes in celebration of the start of the Chinese New Year. And to all our Chinese viewers this morning, a very, very happy New Year, and may it be a prosperous one as well.
Yep. So after the mixture is roughly blended, you add in the sugar.
All right.
As well as the milk.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, going in with the liquid
not too difficult, I see.
No, you can make it at home as well.
I can make it as well.
It's pretty straightforward.
Okay.
And finally, just make sure the cake rises. You make sure you have the baking powder.
Soda.
And this is glutinous rice powder, but if you can't find it, flour works as well.
Normal flour is fine.
Yeah. So really just blend it all together, make sure it is smooth. And finally, you add the red bean, and you pour it into a glass baking tray, lightly greased.
So glass baking tray.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just put it into the oven for about 30 minutes.
Easy as that. Yeah. And then you'll see the red beans filling out that nicely. All right. So very, very easy. Like you've seen, if you want to have a quick another look at how we recreated this beautiful little piece of dessert, here's a quick look back.
Wash the beans, drain, then boil until soft. Add sugar a little at a time while stirring. Mix the sugar and milk, then add to combined oil and eggs. Add baking powder, glutinous rice flour, and blend for 2 minutes. Mix in red bean paste, then pour into a baking dish. Bake at 205 degrees for 35 minutes, then reduce the heat to 190 degrees for the last 10 minutes.
And that is how you make your sweet red bean and Chinese New Year's cake. SMS the keyword cake to 33728. That's cake to 33728. We'll send you the shopping list and a link to the recipe, and you can make it this beautiful creation yourself at home and celebrate Chinese New Year's. Lisa, thank you very, very much for coming through as well. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I'm actually
going to start nibbling already.
Oh, I am going to start nibbling on this one already. But while I do this, let's quickly take a look at the meaning of what the whole Chinese New Year is all about.